Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are viewing this recorded video. This video is meant to not only go out to parents, but students as well. Just a reminder of things as we enter into the hybrid learning model, getting back to school this next Tuesday, September the 8th. And I just wanted to send this video out, and it's a pleasure to have your son or your daughter in my United States/Arizona history class. And we're going to talk about some of my curriculum goals and some of the things that we're going to talk about. So let's get this show on the road. One of my all-time favorite authors is David McCullough. Ken Burns has utilized him a lot on his historical documentary series. David McCullough has won several Pulitzer Prizes, and I encourage all people, if they haven't done so, to read the book 1776. That is a great book. It's the winner of a Pulitzer Prize, named after the famous journalist Joseph Pulitzer that was in New York during the 1800s. And David McCullough basically, in listening to a speech of his one time, he said, "You cannot appreciate that which you do not know." And I just don't think there is enough information, enough knowledge that the people generally speaking in this country have when it comes to not only United States history, but U.S. geography as well. Here is Ken Burns. He is a great documentarian. Ken Burns is about 67 years old now. Of course, he became really well known in the 1990s when he came out with his Civil War series, which to date is the most watched historical documentary on television ever thus far. He just came out with a series on Vietnam. Then there's some other video series that he came out with, one on the war, meaning World War II. He came out with one on the West, the one on national parks. He's currently working on one on World War I, and he's also working on one on the life of Muhammad Ali, and scheduled to come out in 2026 is one on the American Revolution, as we are celebrating the 250th birthday of the United States on July 4th, 2026. So Ken Burns is one of my all-time favorite guys as well. And we will be watching portions of a number of his documentaries throughout the entire year. So why does history matter? Why is it important to study history? Obviously, it helps us appreciate those that went before. Of course, the old adage of why you study history is you learn from people's past mistakes. That's true. But you also learn from people's past successes as well. We don't want to be totally like sometimes the news media is and totally dwell on negative things. There are some great stories, great positive stories in American history. And I think by having a fairly decent overall knowledge of American history, it makes us better thinkers, it improves judgment, it helps us to empathize with others. And that leads to number 4, helps support common cultural understanding and dialogue, which we probably need more of in the year 2020 with what's going on in the country right now. And I would like to think that by especially learning about positive events and positive people in American history, it's going to help us motivate one another to become better citizens. So here are my goals. To introduce United States-Arizona history from the European exploration period of time, which obviously started with Columbus, and going all the way up to the present time, which is a real task. American history, it's not getting any shorter, it's getting longer all the time. And obviously, we use American history to try to help students improve their study skills. And then, like I said just a few minutes ago, trying to help students gain appreciation of where they live by studying our country and our state's past and local history. We'll be going into not only Arizona history, but also Prescott history as well. have the opportunity to learn about and discuss current events, like the current events that are going on currently with the pandemic and with the protests, and of course, all this going on right in the middle of the presidential election kind of makes things interesting. And to try to motivate students to want to learn more about United States history and Arizona history. Those are my goals. And back in the 1920s, the Arizona legislature, along with the Arizona State Board of Education, passed a series of education laws. There are 3 requirements by state law that a student must pass, actually 4 things that they must pass in order to get a high school diploma. They must take and pass a year's course in United States history, which we offer here at Prescott High School in the sophomore year. The junior year is world history, must take a full year's course in world history and pass that. And then the senior year, pass a semester course in economics and pass a semester course in civics, which is the study of American government. And this is actually the highlighted bullet point there on the screen is actually what was passed clear back in the 1920s. Here, what does a student need for my class? I have operated without a textbook for about 25 years now. They need a 3-ring binder, a notebook that they can put things into, pull out, put those things back into. That's the reason I'm not a real fan of spiral bound notebooks. Just a small 3-ring binder, no more than 1 inch in thickness will do. Obviously paper, pen or pencil, and a small pack of colored pencils. We haven't been able to do this obviously with virtual learning, but students will be doing some map work in connection with American history and American geography. And if right now we are short on Chromebooks because the district and Prescott High School has lent out so many Chromebooks to students so that they could make sure that they have a computer for the online learning. And so we do have a shortage of Chromebooks here at Prescott High School. So if a student wants to bring in their phone, if they want to bring in their tablet or want to bring in a laptop computer, that is fine with me. Obviously, the student has to take full responsibility for that. And they certainly are welcome to do that as long as they're using that electronic device for learning purposes in my classroom. And then, I tell my students, I don't like to deal with grades any more than you do, but we have to have some system of accountability. Grades are on a point system. Usually there's anywhere from 600 to 800 points possible in a quarter grading period, which is anywhere from 9 to 10 weeks in length. And the assignments are worth anywhere from 20 to 50 points. Projects are worth anywhere from 100 to 150 points, and tests are worth anywhere from 50 to 100 points. And so you can see just the traditional grading scale down there at the bottom of the screen. I will extend extra credit only to those students who have a history of staying up on their assignments. Obviously, I don't want a student doing extra credit if they're behind on assignments. I will allow assignments to be turned in late. Obviously, there's going to be a penalty. There's going to be a point subtraction for doing so, but it's very important for me to allow the students to be able to make up assignments clear up to the last possible minute, actually at the end of the grading period. So they do need to talk to me if they are interested in doing extra credit. And so extra credit is offered, and I, from time to time, have a number of students that take me up on that. Grades are posted on PowerSchool. It usually takes me about a week to get everything graded. I normally do ask a number of essay questions on most assignments, and when I do that, obviously it takes a little more time to grade those. Of course, the Google Classroom website, which the students have been using, and which all assignments are posted, we will continue to do that throughout the entire school year. And if you ever have a question of me, why, please feel free to shoot me an email at kelly.cordes@prescottschools.com. I want to stress the importance that grades are not the number one important factor in my class. The number one important thing is, are students learning more about American history, Arizona history, American geography, and Arizona geography taken my class? Grades are secondary to that. If they are interested in what's going on in class and they're keeping up with their assignments, the grade will take care of themselves, I can assure you. I am a Grand Canyon fanatic. One of the things that sometimes we don't realize, because it is kind of in our own backyard, it's only 115 miles north here as the crow flies. We have here in the state of Arizona the only natural wonder of the world that is in the United States. That's pretty neat, that we only have one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, according to the United Nations, practically sitting in our backyard. Again, it's another thing that I alluded to earlier, to gain a great appreciation of where they live by studying our country and states past, they meaning students. And boy, the Grand Canyon, you got to go up there and see it. I always have a few students that have never seen it with their own eyes. Pictures just don't do it justice. You just got to go up there and take it all in with your own eyes. That gets us to geography. I tell all of my students, I do teach 1 section of freshman geography. I teach 4 sections of U.S. history, and I tell them all the time, there isn't anything that you and I do or say that does not have to do with geography. And these are the 5 themes of geography that the National Geographic Society came out with in the mid-1980s. And you can see that location is obviously, that's just pinpointing a place on a map. Place deals with the characteristics of that place. What kind of place is it? What kind of people live there? What kind of animals live there? What kind of topography is there? And then interaction, how do the people interact with their environment at that place? And then movement. Movement not only deals with the movement of people and the movement of animals, that it deals with the movement of goods. It also deals with the internet, because you are moving ideas from one place or one location to another. And then region, a region could be as large as a continent or as small as your neighborhood. And so when you take into consideration that geography includes all these things, you can see why I say there isn't anything you and I do or say that doesn't have to do with geography. The number one factor in determining history, it isn't the only factor, but it's the number one factor in determining history, is geography. And that's according to this guy, the longtime professor from UCLA, who's 82, going on 83 years old, Jared Diamond, wrote a book in the 1990s. He also won a Pulitzer Prize for writing the book Guns, Germs, and Steel, which deals with why do some civilizations surpass other civilizations in progress and technology. And this is a commercial, Arizona Highways magazine. I think the subscription is $24 a year, which makes each issue about $2. What a great magazine we have here in the state of Arizona. It started being published in this present format in the 1930s. And you just need to subscribe to Arizona Highways magazine. Mr. Cordes has an Arizona Highways license plate on his vehicle. I am just a fan of Arizona Highways magazine. Great stories, great photographs, and it's just a great publication. But this publication is subscribed to not just all over Arizona, not just all over the United States, but all over the world. Oh, I skipped and to talk a little bit more about geography and how interested I'm in geography and history. This is a picture of me a couple years ago. I am standing at Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, at the junction of the Potomac and the Shenandoah Rivers. The Potomac River is on the left there to my right, and the Shenandoah River is on the right to my left. The hills on the right-hand side of the picture are in Virginia, and the hills on the left are in Maryland, so this is where three states come right together. And Harpers Ferry, Virginia has a lot of history to it. I've been there fortunately twice in my life. And obviously, we're going to be talking about Harpers Ferry from time to time in American history class this year. This is my 33rd year in the school district. I have spent 47 years of my life, either as a student or a teacher in this school district. I went to preschool in this district. I went to kindergarten in this district. And I went to Miller Valley School from kindergarten through the 6th grade. And then I went to Prescott Junior High. Mile High Middle School was a junior high in those days, grades 7, 8, and 9. And then I went to grades 10, 11, and 12 at Prescott High School here. I'm actually teaching in the same classroom that my senior English composition class was in. Elton John would be very, very proud of me because it's the circle of life. And then people ask me all the time, am I related to Cordes Junction? And the answer is yes. My great-granddad went into that area in 1883. And yes, the area is named after my great-grandfather. Here is a picture of Cordes Junction today. And this is a picture of the original Cordes family in Arizona. The picture was taken about 1898. You can see my great-granddad and then my great-grandmother, and the tall guy in the back is their oldest son, which was my grandfather. Now, also, here's another commercial. I do sponsor a trip for high school students, May 23rd through May 29th, 2021. We had our this last year's trip canceled because of the pandemic. And if you are interested in sending your student to Washington, D.C. to learn about how government works, it is a great opportunity. They also take some side trips. They'll go over to Arlington National Cemetery one day. They'll have a tour of the U.S. Capitol building and have a meeting with one of the congressional staffs up there. And they also will do some other sightseeing around Washington, D.C. So it's not all a series of workshops. They'll meet with other kids across the country and basically set up a mock Congress in learning all about how Congress works. If a student is not that interested in American history or American government, obviously this trip is not for them. So if you are interested, I think the cost is around $2,200 for a week. That pays for everything, airfare, food, it pays for everything. So if you're interested, shoot me an email. And Close Up was started clear back in 1975. It was sanctioned by Congress. Then it is only the only student trip company that is sanctioned by Congress. So it's been going on. By the way, there are currently 39 members of Congress that are alumni of Close Up trips. So anyway, that's something about the Close Up Foundation. And then I have to throw in another commercial. We will be talking about Charlotte Hall Museum. I will be giving students some opportunities to go down to Charlotte Hall Museum later in the year, assuming that the pandemic is over. And I am a member of the museum. It's just a great asset to Prescott, and named after a wonderful lady who unfortunately passed away during World War II in 1943. And of course, she had everything to do with the creation of that museum. So welcome to United States and Arizona History. Just to give you a reminder that students with the names A through K will be meeting on Monday and Wednesdays over the next 5 weeks. They are known as the Blue Group. Students with last names L through Z are known as the Gold Group, and they will be meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we only have 5 weeks left in the quarter until fall break. And so obviously, if the numbers in Yavapai County continue to go down, the COVID numbers, then obviously we will be able to go back to a regular school situation starting on Monday, October 19th, which is the first day of school after the fall break. And here is the schedule. When your students do come to school, either on Monday and Wednesday or on Tuesday and Thursday. This is the class schedule. They will be going to every class when they come to school, and that is the schedule for at least up until fall break. So with that, thanks for watching this, and I hope you gained some information from it. And you guys all take care, stay well, stay safe in this situation, and we will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye-bye.